Hey friends, did you know that Medium Curious is brought to you by VerySoul? VerySoul is a platform where everyone can receive a free mediumship reading. And it provides us... What? Yeah, free. Really. And it provides a safe place for mediums in training to go practice, but also practice.
Yes, mediums need practice.
Yes, we do.
But did you know that VerySoul upholds vigorous standards for their working mediums? By requiring compelling evidence in every session, they ensure consistent, reliable, and meaningful experiences for every client. So go to verysoul.com, mediums you can trust.
Hey everybody, I'm Jane.
And I'm Sarah.
And you're listening to the Medium Curious podcast, the show that's a couple of super normal, really cool, interesting, but really normal moms who happen to be mediums talking to each other and really cool guests.
But no guests today, unless anyone shows up.
They might. Maybe someone will come in from the other side today.
Oh, well, welcome back, Jane. This is our welcome back episode after summer off.
Yes.
And I'm so excited to be here.
Me too. I'm so happy to see you.
I know. It's been a crazy summer. Actually, before we start, I just ask that everybody who listens to this podcast, who loves this little podcast, could you do us a favor and please subscribe, follow, download your episodes. And if you leave us a comment, we get like extra bonus points for that. Rate us, it just would really, really, really help.
Yes, please. Anyone you're using, Spotify, Apple, etc., just please go up there and give us a little rating and a little love and some words. And that would be a big deal to us. Or just meet us over on Substack, another great place to hang around us. And thank you for doing that. And is that enough of a commercial or do we need more?
Well, let's talk about what we decided this episode was going to be about. Do you know?
I'm following you, sis. What are we doing today?
We were going to talk about fun, life-changing, cool readings that we've done.
Yes.
Because that's a lot of juicy info that we can pull from right there.
100. And talk about... Yeah. Also, maybe just a little life stuff thrown in there. So I want to hear some of your amazing stories because you are an extraordinary medium, and I can't wait to hear your stories. And then we'll see what I come up with too. So,
but
yay!
You want to talk about your life first?
I do.
Okay, Janie, how you doing? I know you just moved. I know it's been a big move across an ocean, across states, with dogs, a kid. Tell us how you're doing.
Yeah, that's a good summary. I feel like I'm in about 18 places at once. Like some of our stuff, we kind of cheaped out and decided to just ship it USPS because we weren't going to bring furniture and stuff. So just like our, like the artifacts of life, the stuff that you think you really, really need, we put it all in boxes, but it's coming so randomly. I'm really happy because my other good mic actually arrived. It's downstairs in a box. So it's been a really wacky, like, who am I? What does it all mean? Kind of summer. But we're here.
You had to get all new furniture too, right?
Dude,
like you moved into an unfurnished house.
There was nothing in here. Not a spoon, not a napkin, like nothing. And that was only 2.5 weeks ago. So I'm still getting my bearings but I really like it here. I really, 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 really like it here. So there's aspen trees that like wave with their little aspen leaves and just beautiful. The mountains are super juicy. Like I can feel them. They're so loud. And the native populations are loud in my ear. Like it's really gorgeous here. And so it's exciting. It's an exciting time actually. So while it's been a brutal, painful summer.
Hard, yeah.
I literally think I started really moving actively in late May, and now we're still not done, and that probably won't be done until sometime in September. So, the brilliant Sally Hawk said that it takes half a year? Isn't that what she said to us?
Something like that. It just takes time off your life, maybe.
Yeah, I think you lose years off the end of your life.
Yeah.
So anyway, thanks for asking. It's been intense, but I think the upshot is, I got some of my crystals here, I got some of my decks of cards, and I got you on my screen. So okay,
Oh, well, can I just say that watching your whole process, I just am in such admiration of how you do it, because you're kind of fearless and you don't really know how things are going to happen. And you just really trust that you're following. And I see you, I hear you checking in with spirit all the time. Am I supposed to do this? Am I supposed to do this? And you follow that and you actually live your life that way. And it takes you to where you're supposed to be. So that is really inspirational.
Oh, thank you. That means so much to me. And I love how the universe and spirit and whoever the heck we're all talking to will like give you little extra signs back of like, I was just telling you before we started recording that I met a new neighbor who happens to have a giant golfer kid in their life and who also has a schizophrenic brother. And I was like, what? Like, and you live across the cul-de-sac from me. Like, what is that? So magic abounds. That's what I think.
So speaking of magic,
how was your summer? Wait, we didn't get to hear the Sarah report yet.
Oh, my summer was wonderful and it was way too short. And I did take a bunch of time off of doing readings. And obviously we took time off the podcast. And I'm always so amazed when I go back to doing readings that it still works, you know?
Is this thing on?
Yeah. Hello? Is there any spirit there? Is anyone going to show up?
Yeah.
And I'm just always so grateful to spirit. And I'm always so happy that I do this and taking the time off, it all feels fresh and exciting and wonderful again. And I'm always so happy that I do this.
Oh my God, I love that. I love that. We were texting each other the other day, like, oh my God, I have my first reading in a long time. And you're like, I have too. And I'm like, oh my God. So they went well. Tell us.
And spirit always shows up.
Oh my God, right?
I feel like if I talk about readings after they've just happened, then there's not the anonymity that then if I talk about readings that happened a long time ago that I've given.
Perfect.
And because I've been doing readings for such a long time now, I feel like that's how I want to share with that anonymity in mind. So I can share a reading that I was just thinking about the other day. Well, there's a couple of readings that I've had. I had someone contact me and she's like, do you remember that reading that you gave me a couple years ago? And I brought through a friend of hers who had crossed from suicide. And he was so big and beautiful, this great, gorgeous energy. And he mentioned another friend, a friend that they had in common, a friend that she knew. And the sense that I got was that she needed to check in on him. And so she got in touch with me. She's like, did I ever tell you what happened when I got in touch with him? And I hadn't known. She said that she reached out to him because her friend in spirit had said, someone needs to reach out to him. He needs help. Oh, wow. And he was in a really low spot and he was contemplating
leaving
as well. And she was able to give him love and support that he needed in that moment. And it just like spirit kind of made that happen. And I didn't know that for a couple of years. And she's like, yeah, I forgot to tell you that's what happened. And he's fine and he's okay. And spirit came through and I know.
Oh my God. Isn't that amazing? And then for 2 years, you weren't even aware. And then they come back and tell you that.
Yeah, it was even more than that. It was several years ago. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that tees up a story that I can share that's along those lines. This was way back in I want to say 14 or 15 when I thought I should just start doing group readings. I was like, I'm good at this. I'm going to just do a group reading. So my teacher at the time was like, open up all your chakras and shine them out and let's go. And so I was there in front of a dozen people and this fellow came through and he was, and it was basically a group of friends in LA. Right. And he was my friend's brother-in-law on the other side. And I was not aware that she had a brother-in-law on the other side. And he came in and he had, some really nice evidence, and she identified him, and he was really direct. And he was like, listen, and I got from him that he had died by his own hand. And he said to her, don't do it. And I was like, oh shit, I'm saying this in a room full of people.
Yeah.
It's a little bit cryptic, but it's also not at all, right?
Yeah.
And luckily she's very open and like, she's actually gone on podcasts and talked about this exact moment, which is why I feel comfortable sharing this, even though we're still not using names. But she said that, he just called her out. She was absolutely thinking about leaving. And he, with his directness and his humor and his just charming way, that his name is Steve, and he's just like very Steve, right? He was just like, this isn't a thing. I'm fine. I'm happy over here, but you don't need to do that. And that's what I always hear from suicides. I think it's worth mentioning right now that every spirit I've ever spoken to who crosses that way is always like, darn, shoots. Not like, and of course they have remorse for the pain they've caused their.
Yes, but it's never, I just gave a reading the other day that was, I was said I wasn't going to talk about it, but it's always, and I'm so sorry to have put you through that, but it's not, it's not,
they're not in any peril or.
Right. It's not where they feel traumatized by their decision.
Yes. And in fact, that's so weird because you and I both went into our readings, and that was the story with my reading too.
Yeah.
It was very much that. It was the same story, and it was a young person, and she was just like full of remorse for what it's done. But she's also like, I couldn't stay here. I could not stay here. And that's often the case with folks who cross that way. It's that this place is too intense and it's too much, and they need to go. They just need to go.
Well, I gave a reading where he was like, talk about exit points.
Wow.
Yeah. And I've heard other mediums talk about exit points.
Yeah.
And that when we incarnate, when we decide, when we develop our plan for what we're going to do, we have
our little
blueprint of what we're going to do in our lifetime. There are different off-ramps that we can choose from. And it's just an exit point.
Yes, 100%. And let me ask you this, in some of the readings or the conversations you've had with Spirit about this, what I hear is that, yes, and exactly that, exit points, like off ramps. I see it almost like you're on the highway of life, and then there's multiple exit points. And weirdly, I'm going to just take an off ramp from the thing I was about to say to you. My husband, many years ago, we had only been together a couple of years. He was going to travel here. We were living in Seattle at the time, and he was going to travel here to Salt Lake area for the Olympics, which was like 2004. When was it? 2002. It was 2002 here. And
you're asking me like I know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 2. There's a bunch of signs around here. I should know. I believe it's 2, and then they get another one coming in 34. But it's all exciting, but whatever. So he was all excited. He was coming here to go to attend, a bunch of events and whatever, the Olympics. And I had the worst feeling about it. Like I had such a sinking, and this was long before I was really in any sort of trust of my intuition or whatever. But I thought, he's going to die. This is terrible. He's going to go there. He's going to die. And of course, I'm not going to say that to the guy. And plus, we'd only been together a couple of years. And I was like, okay, honey, I'll take you to the airport. And I was just terrified. I thought he was going to die.
Yeah.
And then on the way, he said, I had a dream and I have this terrible feeling I'm going to die.
Oh.
And I was like, okay, now I have to tell you that I think that's true. And luckily, you heard on the husband's episode, anyone who listened, that he knew what he was dealing with me. I was already talking to him about past lives on day 1. Anyway, point is, we turned around and went home. He did not come here for the Olympics because we both had such a bad feeling about it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure he's ever really fully forgiven me because I think
did anything happen?
Nothing happened that was obvious. Like his family didn't get in an accident. Like nothing happened.
Yeah.
But we at the time just felt like it was too intense the way we both felt in the dream that he had.
Yeah.
So in my mind, it was an exit ramp, and we don't know what the decision he would have made or where he would have been standing or how he would have potentially crossed over, or maybe not at all.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that's kind of a crazy story. And I want him to be able to go to the Olympics in a few years to try to make up for it.
Yeah.
So anyway, I've always believed that that's how it goes. And I think the question I was about to ask you about folks, who die by suicide do you get the feeling that when we're planning our lives, that's sort of like, it's an option, but that our guides and team want us to try not to do it, or does it matter? Do you see what I mean? Like, is there any shame in it is what I'm trying to ask.
I don't actually know the answer to that. All I know is from those that I've spoken to on the other side who have died that way, they are full of love. They are full of healing. They have done a lot to heal themselves.
Yeah.
But they do come through saying, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry,
Right.
because they do have regret for the pain that it has caused other people, their loved ones. Right.
Right.
I mean, that's the big regret that they have.
Right. So they're not sorry to be gone. They're just super sorry for the ripples and how it impacted.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the same too goes for those who cross over from addiction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I've now given readings for so many people who've crossed over in so many different ways. And it's really never about how they cross over, honestly.
Right.
Because everybody's going to cross over at a certain point.
Right.
But there is that I have
responsibility.
Yeah. I need to say, I'm so sorry. I understand now the pain that I've caused those who I've left behind.
Yeah. I think Spirit sends me a lot of addicts and folks in that park because of who I am and my family and whatnot. So it's like they often will come to me because I'm like so compassionate towards addicts. I'm like, oh babe, feel ya. But they do often say, I bear responsibility in my crossing.
Yeah.
Meaning as an addict, at a certain point, it's very hard to pull out without like divine intervention, which is what I believe often happens. And that's what a lot of like recovery programs are based on, is like, you need a big God to pull you up out of that mess.
Yeah.
But they do own the fact that they never pulled themselves out.
Yeah.
Or any wreckage that was caused by their addictions.
Right.
So, yeah.
It's hard being human.
Frick, yeah, man.
It's so hard.
In a season of hard humaning, I can really say an amen to that.
But there is so much healing that happens, I think, on the other side too. I would just like to say that. I think there's so much, and I do feel like there's something about that mediumship container when you bring through somebody who needs to make an acknowledgement for something that they did when they were in human physical form to the sitter. There is healing that takes place within that. That is really helpful.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
For both people, for the person in spirit and the person who's still embodied. Absolutely.
That's, I feel like, a huge part of our role is as an intermediary is to help continue to establish and reestablish and reconfirm the bonds that they share. So it's sort of like, we're like, oh, just confirming what you know, which is that they're sorry, and confirming what you know, which is they forgive you or not, or whatever. We're like, we kind of hold, sometimes I joke about that. Like, I'm in the room and I have to negotiate a deal between the invisible one and the visible one. I'm like, well, he says, sometimes it can be hard.
Well, I was just remembering this really cool reading I gave several years ago. A wife had set up a reading for her husband, but she wanted to be there with him during it. And so I had to tell her, I was like, well, because there's two of you, that increases the number of spirits that can come through. It may not just be for your husband. There might be people that come through for you. So indeed, her mom came through, and I was like, okay, well, I'll see who else is here. And she loved, I love hearing from my mom, but that's not why I intended this reading. And so then I was like, okay, well, I'll try again. And then her dad came through, and I was like, okay, so I think you might need to leave the room. And then she left the room, and I was reading for her husband. And I don't think he would have come, quite honestly, if on his own. She needed to have booked the reading for him.
Okay.
And I connected with a really young man, and I was like, he was older. He was quite a bit older. And this young man, and I knew that he was his brother, and he's like, yeah, that's who I wanted to connect with. And I was like, I see him. He's on a boat dock. He's on a lake. And, he's so happy. He's having a great time. It's beautiful outside. Like, I could feel the sun on his skin, and he was like really tan and really good looking, very athletic. And then, I felt like, I was like, okay, I feel him in the water, and I feel like he's getting trapped underneath a boat. And I wasn't given the full picture. I didn't know what had happened. His brother, who I was reading for, burst into tears, and he's like, that's all I needed to know. So I didn't know anything further. I know that whatever I had brought through meant something to him. And then his wife got in touch with me later and said, you just alleviated a lifetime of guilt. My husband thought that he was responsible for not saving his brother from drowning, but something with what I said about him being trapped under the boat made him aware of the fact that he couldn't have done anything to save him. Oh, wow. So it just lifted this guilt that he'd been carrying for decades away from him. And that was healing right there. He could continue and move through life with just this lightness that he hadn't been responsible for his brother's passing.
That's incredible. Man, to me, that just sums it right up.
I know. It's very powerful.
We train and we pursue this, and we meditate, and we talk to, because we want to create moments like what you created there, or what you facilitated, I should say.
But for me as the medium, and this is also for other mediums listening out there, I didn't know what the story was at the time. Right. I think a lot of times you
reported what you saw.
I just reported what I saw, and that was all I needed to do. Right. I think a lot of times mediums get into trouble when they want to fill in the full picture for themselves. I know that I'm guilty of that, especially early on. It's like, I want to know the whole story. I want to know what's going on.
Yeah.
But you don't need to. You just need to pass on the information that you're getting.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, right.
And a lot of times we won't ever know the full story unless afterwards someone comes through and lets you know how it landed.
It's such a cool, this is a little bit on going deeper into the actual craft for a second, but the analogy I always think of is so I get a piece of information, and then sort of like you do on a phone where you pinch zoom in.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, how much do I need to pinch zoom and ask for more, or how much can I just let that sit? Yeah. And like you said, the reaction from the sitter usually tells you everything you need to know, which is that's enough, or, and then you can always just chat to spirit and be like, is that enough? Do I need to say more? What do you need? What else do I need to have? Right. And I think so much of the craft for me right now is pacing and sorting those kinds of moments of okay, this information is here. Wait a second. Don't say a bunch more stuff. Let that land with them. Yeah. Let spirit tell you what's next. Do you know what I mean? Just having the confidence to let there be space.
Right. Yeah.
So
trusting that you don't need to deliver a full cake on a platter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the knife and, the candles. Like you can just be like,
And
let
there's
them
a
make
lot
cake.
of times in readings where you give the information and it's not going to make sense until after the reading.
Oh my God, right? Totally.
So they're not going to be able to put together like, oh, that's what that means until a few days, weeks even down the road.
Right. Well, that reminds me of our last, what we closed our season with the amazing Joe Peretta. Remember, he did that reading for me and I was a little deer in the headlights. So I was like, yeah, and then I wound up like very last minute taking a trip out to upstate New York to help celebrate my cousin's birthday. And I was in the middle of moving. It made no sense. And Sarah will attest to this. So much of what I do makes no sense. So nobody's really surprised, but I just had to go. Like I needed to be with my cousin. I needed to show up. And I actually had this fun thing where I actually surprised everyone. It was total chaos. It was really fun. Anyway, I bring it up because that place where I went to visit her and we went up to our family farm was actually where Dottie, who Joe brought through.
Yeah.
It was Dottie's house.
No way.
Yeah, dude. I was actually in Dottie's house like a month after that reading.
Yeah. And that makes so much sense after the reading. Oh, that's why he brought up Dottie in that reading because I was going to go stay in her house.
Right. And I could feel her in the room I stayed in because it was absolutely full. This whole farmhouse that my cousins now own and run. And it's really beautiful. They redid a whole bunch of it. And it's hilarious because my great uncle, whose farmhouse it was along with Dottie, it hangs around, and they're both like want me to talk to him and don't because they did so much structurally to the house and like they did. So they're like, don't really want to know what Robbie says. I'm like, he's fine. As long as and he told me, my uncle Robbie on the other side told me that he wanted his potbelly stove, like the, those kind of like
wood burning
for heating.
pot,
He wanted it back in the house.
Uh-huh.
And I went out to the barn. I was like, it's right here. You can put it back in. And they were all like,
yeah, we're not going.
I was like
we don't care. We don't care what it says.
That's what he wants. Is that not a thing?
Yeah. It's not happening.
It's not, whatever. They're like, we're not this century. I'm like, okay. But anyway, that was the amazing Joe Peretta. And he evidence, he had the evidence. He gave it to me. If I took it or not was neither here nor there for him. It was so great.
Yeah.
He's just like, well,
this is what I'm getting. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a
here you go. Do with it what you will, but this is the info that I've got. Yeah.
And then it'll be really fun when you get to build that extra rooms on your house.
Yes.
And we'll be able to call Joe and be like,
that made me so happy.
Yeah. Right?
After that, he was like, why would I say that? I was not going to go with that. I was like, Joe, that was like the only thing you could tell me that would make me that happy. And you thought it was just some like boring little thing, but you said it, and little did you know that that's all I wanted to hear. So, yeah,
brilliant, so good. I love that he was willing to do that for us. So, what else, Sarah? Do you have any other stories that pop up for you to share with our sweet listeners?
Well, I was just thinking, I have had a lot of kids that I've brought through, and they usually come through. When a parent comes for a reading, they want to hear from their kid, right?
Right.
And then when their grandfather comes through first, or their, great
auntie
uncle,
or whatever.
right,
yeah,
comes through initially, they're a little bit disappointed. But I have found that the grandfather wants to bring in their kid.
Yeah.
That they want the grandfathers and the fathers, they want their daughter or son to know that the grandchild is being cared for and taken care of. And that's usually why they come in first, and they have, then they bring in the child. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's happened so many times.
Oh, that's beautiful. Like, I've had the same experience, and if it's a super young person like a child or even just a young adult, there's often a grandparent that predecesses them. And
Yeah. That
you're
comes
right.
in
And then,
first. Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we just kind of have to trust. I mean, it's such a trust game. It's such an endlessly trust game with this, but luckily you've now had the experience where you can even reassure the sitter, like, this is what happens. This is how they run it. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then for readings, when you just get those little cool nuggets, I was just going through my notebook. I keep a notebook, and sometimes I don't always do it. There's like big swaths of time where I'm like, oh, I mustn't have written down anything after those readings. But I try to write down a few of the things that I get in those readings to remind me of like, oh, that's so magical. What a gorgeous little nugget.
Yeah.
And there was, I had written down, Mom asked for one last phrase from her daughter before I signed off from the reading. And the daughter just said, carpe diem. And she's like, oh my gosh. We used to say that to each other all the time. That was like our like keyword that we would just use, you know, carpe diem. I was like, that was, yes. So that doesn't always happen by any means, but obviously that communicator was really, really clear, and I had a great connection with her. So that carpe diem was just like a little nugget of gold that I was able to leave her with.
Yeah. Yeah. That kind of any final words is actually a really good technique. Because I think because your link is strong and they're really clear and they're comfortable with you at that point, and your sitter's more open and like any final words. And I've had a couple of those too, where it's been like, oh, it's a little bit of a needle in a haystack. And I'll be like, what am I even saying? Why am I talking about a needle in a haystack? And then the sitter goes, oh my God, they said that, you know, a week before they left or whatever. Like you just, it's so great. They're just dropping them in like magical bouquets.
Well, and I find too that when you've got a really good connection, you know, I was doing a reading where everything was suddenly bird metaphors. Like I'm like, and you're the mama bird. And I was like, okay, so I don't speak in bird metaphors all the time. And she was like, I'm a birder. We spent a lot of time.
Oh, isn't that great? And was there like a bird in your presence by any chance outside or anything like that?
I don't remember, but I just remember in the reading, like I was just using so many bird analogies, which I don't normally do. And so all of it is evidential, right? All of it is just brings to life the connection and the communication. And it's not like these little facts on a page, but the fact that I'm using all of these bird metaphors that I would never use is in itself evidential.
Incredibly evidential. So charming. I'm going to miss the weather in Hawaii. Like big. I mean, it's just like sunny and dry here. Like it's beautiful, but I did a reading once where it was so much of the information was coming through the weather. Like this huge storm was rolling in and these birds did that thing. And then that related to this piece of evidence about the birds, like kind of like freaking out before the storm. And then the storm rolled through, which was part of what the spirit communicator wanted to talk about was the storm of the life that they're having right now. And then like each thing though, it was getting crazy because it was like, okay, it suddenly stopped and the sun came out and the rainbow, you know, like I was just like, I swear I was a half on the other side the way it was going. So I think I'm going to miss that, but Spirit's just going to have to get real fancy in here in my blank room. Because you know, does Spirit ever do that to you? Do they like move your eyes to point at certain things?
Yeah.
Isn't that cool?
It's like, okay, now why am I looking over here? Oh, because my awareness has been drawn over there. So there must be something there that I should talk about. I mean, I think that's the thing. And that's kind of like how you're supposed to move through life when you're living in that conjunction with Spirit. Just if there's something that you notice and something that your awareness is pulled towards, pay attention. There's a reason. There's a reason for that.
Oh my God. Totally. And this might be dumb, but I just went for coffee with a new friend and we went into the coffee shop and there was a bunch of folks who were in line and the one was like, dude, I'm so tired because I was up really late watching my show. And I think he was going to say like, I don't know, what some hardcore show. And he's like, Animal Planet.
That's so
I was like, oh my God, I
cute.
love this dude. Right. So then we walk through and we're kind of threading through the outdoor patio where there's a bunch of other folks. And this woman, as we're sitting down right next to us, goes, well, last night on Animal Planet. And I was like, okay,
Oh, yeah.
I'm on notice. There's something to do with Animal Planet. Yeah. And my third clue hasn't come yet, but maybe you've got it for
But
you.
it's always, that's just mean. I feel like that just means you're in the flow, right?
Yes. Yeah.
That means and then, all the synchronicities with your new friend.
Yeah.
And like, even before we started this conversation, I don't know why I said Boo Radley, but I did. And then do you want to say why that's relevant?
Well, yeah, there's an amazing coffee shop called Atticus, which is a bookstore, and I'm obsessed with it. And I was going to get on a bus today and go work there because it's just up the street, but it's on Main Street, and so it's kind of busy over there. So I was going to ride a bus to Atticus, and so then you're talking Boo Radley, and I'm like,
To Kill a Mockingbird, folks.
Yeah, in case you're not talking.
Yes.
To Kill a Mockingbird, and it's a really, we're just like, it's such a good coffee shop, and it has all these beautiful books and journals, and it's like pretty much where I'm going to be when everyone is skiing.
There you go.
You can find me there.
Yeah, but that's so funny that popped up in conversation. And why did I say that? I don't know.
Exactly.
Like,
because you wanted to.
I have no idea why I said that, but it kind of fit into the whole flow of your day.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so sweet that you said it that way. That's exactly what I said was, oh, the reason this Animal Planet thing just happened is because we're in flow. That's how I perceive it. Exactly that. I was like, oh, we're in flow. That's fun.
Yeah.
And then a huge wind blew up right as we were saying this and that. I was like, well, that's because
my daughter even notices that too. She'll be watching something and I will say a word and then she'll hear it in the show that she's watching. And then she'll say, hey, this just happened. I'm like, aha. So she's aware of that. She tracks those things and it's really fun. It's really cute. And it's something that you can do without being a medium, or it's something that you can do when you're not like a intuition practitioner. It's just a fun thing that you can do every single minute of your life.
Yeah. Well, our guest who just started her own podcast, Becky Bradley, talks about this a lot. Like she's constantly getting these signs and constantly in that kind of flow and tracking. And a lot of times I'll get lots of signs from her daughter too. The number of 22s that I saw throughout the whole move, I was like, Kira is helping me constantly on this move because I'm just like freaking dying because moving sucks, I don't think there's any other way to say it. And she was just showing up big.
Oh.
And I was like constantly texting Becky, I'm like, look at Kira said this. She's here and she's helping me with this. And, so I think that, I don't know. I think it's just like you're saying, it's such a beautiful way to live. You don't have to be a medium. You don't have to, but you are, by tuning into that kind of magical line of logic or the available good, it means that you're also able to tune into your own intuition and hear your own kind of higher self. It's in I feel like when that stuff's happening, your higher self is in the room.
Yes. Indeed.
What do you think of that? Yeah,
I do. Absolutely.
It's kind of a new theory. I'm going with it.
So, hey, I got a question for you. Mediumship readings aren't the only kinds of readings you do, right?
That's true.
Yeah. Do you want to tell us about the other kinds of readings you do? I think it's interesting to talk about because it's kind of in the same vein as being in the flow, being attuned to your intuition.
Yeah, right. And the everything, I think. Like, this has been my discovery like through 24 and 25 of like how, wow, it's amazing. We can speak to folks who have crossed into another dimension or wherever they go, they're right here, but they're not here, however that works. I think as humans, we don't fully get to understand it. But then I started chatting to like animals. And I had that experience leading up to when the telepathy tapes were introduced. But I was like having these telepathic conversations with animals. And our listeners have heard about that because I get so excited. And also while we were on break, we had the fun speaking of animals, there's my animal.
Right on cue.
You know what? He wants to come in. I'm just going to take a hot second. I got to get him in here because he's going to yell. Hold on. We have like I was going to call him a healer, a man who's here helping us fix some stuff that's
He's
broken.
healing your broken house.
He's a house healer. So chatting to animals telepathically, which again, the telepathy tapes like really cemented that, like, well, yes, but then it's like, wait a minute. Now I'm talking to the mountains. I'm talking to trees for sure. Like I was chatting to the trees in the backyard and I was like, y'all are really cool. What's going on here? And they're like, we needed you to come here. And I was
like, of course they did.
For reals? Like that seems a little like my ego was like, really? You needed me? And they're like, well, you needed us. And I'm like, okay, that makes more sense. Anyway, like, once you're in a conversation with the everything, you want to keep a hold of your sanity a little bit, but also it's real.
Yeah.
It's super, super real. Trees are very chatty.
So do you do tree readings?
Tree readings? I could.
Okay. Well, I have a monstera in my living room that's on its way out. Does it have anything?
Okay, we can chat. I can chat to them for you. They are they them. They just told me. But to answer your question, which is very sweet, So the main thing that I'm really excited about right now is kind of what I'm calling spiritual cheerleading, which is where I'm starting to work with folks on a continual basis, where we're manifesting dreams come true with their creative projects and also just life stuff and getting through hard things. But so that's kind of new and exciting. And
so how does that work? Does someone sign up with a project in mind that they work with you through? Or
Yeah. And it could be the project is themselves moving through, a particular breakthrough or so it doesn't have to be an art project, but so far the clients that have come forward have had books or ceramics or poetry or so I have a lot of kind of writerly folks.
Oh, that's so fun. That's so cool.
Yeah. A photography book is coming to the earth later this year. Yeah. So I'm kind of like a doula, a spiritual cheerleader, creative project doula. So that's new and exciting. And they're going to be in like a 6-month container for that. But like you, I do Akashic readings, which I love. So I think that's kind of it. So it's like pets, Akashic, folks on the other side, and not just pets, animals, any animal. And then, of course, like psychic fun stuff too.
Yeah. I've been enjoying doing just intuitive readings because a lot of people, they want a reading, but they don't necessarily have somebody on the other side that they're looking to connect with.
Yeah.
Because a mediumship reading, it tends to be, there can be, help and guidance that comes from a mediumship reading, but a lot of it has to do with the relationship between the communicator in spirit and the person sitting. So I also enjoy giving just intuitive readings where I will tune into whomever comes and to their energy. And it's just really interesting. Like, what do I see? And sometimes it'll be a color reading or I will be shown something. And then it's just where the reading and the need of the sitter comes through that. So what it does is offer a different perspective, something that they're not looking at, and just offering a different way of looking at it, a different perspective.
And do you feel
shift
like
things?
Yeah. Shift happens, babes. We need that. So do you feel like you have guides online?
I definitely do. I definitely work with guides. I'm not sure exactly how it works, but I definitely tune into the sitter's guides and their higher self. And my guides who I work with, and I ask to be shown, and I create this container before the reading, and I'm asked to be shown what is it that is in the highest good of the sitter that you can show me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Oh, I want a color reading, Sarah.
Rainbows, sparkles.
And then,
but we have a course coming up, Jane.
Oh yeah, we should talk about that.
But first, I want to say before that, I feel like I want to be a forever student of this work, this intuitive work, because I feel like once you start going down this path, there are just more and more things that you can unfold and develop and work on and learn about. Like, I know this isn't your interest, but medical and intuitive work is really interesting to me. And the more I learn about it, I'm like, whoa, it's so cool. So I'm kind of going
so
down that
needed.
rabbit hole. Yeah.
Oh man. Well, you get such clear, specific, precise stuff that you'd be amazing at that. That totally makes sense for you. You have that kind of brain. You're kind of a brainiac.
I don't know if I'm a brainiac, but I do like the concreteness of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you like that clear evidence.
Yeah, like I'm not in my backyard talking to my trees the same way that you are. That's why I need you to help me with my house plant. But
yeah, happy to.
But it feels very
3D,
very like visceral. You know?
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, I love that for you. I think they'd be amazing at that. Or you already are. I mean. Well, it's blooming.
It's blooming. Yeah. It's a new area of study, which I'm really enjoying.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Speaking of studying.
Wait, one more thing before we get into our exciting offerings. So what would you say, or maybe, I don't know if that you have an answer for this, but what is your favorite type of reading or experience in this realm when you get to sit down with a client?
Oh, I don't have one. You knew I was going to say that. It's like asking me which one is my favorite kid. And I always tell them, you're my favorite. You're my favorite. You're my favorite. And it's a joke in our house because they know that I tell that to all of them.
Oh, that's adorable. I could not love that more.
But I mean, that's how I feel. It's just when you have a good reading, no matter what type of reading it is, it's that the magic of that just is so amazing.
Yeah. You're basically high for a little while after that. Or I am anyway. Yeah. It's so juicy. I mean, even just these podcasts with our guests and with just you, dear friend, I do get like super juiced. Like it's kind of like what I need to get me through the boxes that I haven't unpacked. So, so let me just say thank you before we get into the more fun stuff you want to talk about our classes coming up?
We have a fall one that we're teaching starting the end of September that runs into October. It is 3 weeks in a row, 2 hours each on a Monday evening. And it's very similar to the course that we taught before, which was so fun.
So fun.
And I would like to say that I feel like everyone who took that course came out of there having had really cool metaphysical experiences. Like they were able to bring through either someone in spirit or read their partner in partner practice.
Totally.
And that was just so thrilling to be a part of.
A couple of our students have gone on to become Very Soul, or at least very active on the Very Soul platform. And one of them is actually doing readings.
That's so cool. That makes me so happy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's extraordinary, actually.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So you can check it out on mediumcurious.com and sign up. And we're also going to be having Claire Club.
Oh,
which I'm
Sarah,
so
this is your
about.
brainchild. This is so good. Tell us about Claire Club.
It's just a lab where you can drop in once or twice a week for 6 weeks, and we'll give you exercises to develop your clairs, because your clairs are your psychic senses. That's how you sense things intuitively. So your clairvoyance, your clairaudience, your clairsentience, your claircognizance. And there's so many cool techniques and exercises that you can use in partner practice. And these would be just short little partner practices to use and develop and strengthen these muscles, these clairs. And when you do it regularly, like if you do it every week or you do it twice a week, which is what we're offering at different times, then it's amazing how quickly they develop.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And the readings. And what's really fun about that is that you get to do, obviously you get all that great practice of readings for other folks, but then you also get readings yourself.
Yeah. That is also very fun.
Which is very fun. Yeah. Which I would like to also add is also completely available on Very Soul.
Yes.
You can do that quick jump in, do a practice. And she's even got them happening kind of like constantly like,
Yeah.
you can just jump into a room and do practicing. So sort of this would be more of like led by one of us. We'll be in the room and we'll be putting you in breakout rooms and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah,
either place.
If you want some structure and you want some guidance on how to get these psychic senses going, how to strengthen them specifically, then this is your place. Club. Yeah, come to Claire Club. And just check out mediumcurious.com and we'll be so excited to Claire Club it up.
Claire Club, CC. Woo, woo. Hey, so before we close, which we should because we're about out of time, once again, we're going to lovingly, with so much love, implore y'all to please go to your podcast player, click, rate us, say words about how much you love it. Or if you don't love it, don't say anything. But if you're listening here at 50 minutes in, you probably love it and we love you back so much. And just know that that's a very significant boost to us and it's super important. So we just very much appreciate that in advance.
Yes.
We are thanking your future self for doing that. So
yes. Thank you.
Because we love you and we want to keep doing this and we're ready to kind of take this to the next level and your reviews and downloads and follows will make that happen. So
all right, Jane.
We'll
be back with some great guests the rest of the season.
We have so many good guests already in the can and we're recording more. So
right. Love you.
Love everybody.
Bye.
Love you. Love everybody else. Bye.
Very Soul is our sponsor for Medium Curious. Jane and I are both Very Soul mediums.
Oh, yes, we are. Verysoul.com, y'all. Inspired by spirit, guided by love, and brought to life by mediums. Medium Curious is made possible
by Jane Morgan Editing.
Sarah Rathke made the amazing music. Mix by Podcast Engineers.
You can help Medium Curious by downloading the episodes
and following our socials. And the dogs under the desk in Hawaii are Kalea and Domino.
And Trixie in California.